Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, how are we all? Today's just going to be something a little bit different, looking at getting the rear storage or false floor built in the back of my Patrol. So we'll go have a look at that, I suppose. Now the idea is, I want to remove this back seat, build like a battery box and a little bit of storage the same height as my drawers back here. It's my Titan drawers, so I want it to be flat and even. My batteries stored down here with a little bit of storage up top if possible, but I'm not too fussed if I can't. Now, got the GoPro set up, so might as well jump straight into ripping this seat out, eh? Now, as you can see, I started removing the two 14mm bolts off the front of the seat there. Now, I only had some real basic spanners with me, so I struggled a fair bit. I ended up grabbing a piece of PVC pipe to help me grip the spanner because they were incredibly tight. I actually ended up splitting the PVC pipe in half. That's how tight these bolts were. Once I'd finally removed the front two bolts, I got around to trying to figure out how to remove the seat. Little did I know that there was a latch on the back of the passenger seats, and they actually fold forward towards the driver's seats. The more you know, eh? The more you know. There's a little latch or something back here. I believe that's what that is. Excuse the mess. I'm going to go about getting that off though. Unless it's... Oh, yo. I think I just figured, okay. Okay, so yeah, this is the little latch I was talking about. Sorry if my camera doesn't focus, this one here. Now I'm assuming that's for when you want to fold your seats down and then up. So, I believe this looks like the latch. Could be wrong. I'm going to set this camera down so I can have two hands. Now, I was pulling the correct lever to raise the back of the seat up, but my dumb ass was too focused and too excited to finally get this seat out that I wasn't focusing on where the headrest of the passenger seat was impacting on the passenger side front seat. It's quite obvious watching this footage back now, and I'm sure a lot of you Patrol and Land Cruiser owners out there are going to be laughing at me because it's such a stupid mistake, but well, here we are, eh? It's my first time removing a passenger rear seat on a Patrol. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. Okay, so I was right about the latch. Allowing you to fold it up. Now, because I've removed that bolt, wouldn't you? Those two bolts at the front there, that should just come out, shouldn't it? Should it? Oh, f***. Oh, f***. That's... Oh, unless behind here, do you reckon? There's another set of bolts. Ah, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Behind here too. I'm assuming. Oh, I just broke it. Oh. Yep, another bolt in there. Get off your dog. Right, so I suppose I'll get to work on removing those two bolts and the seat should just come right out. Right, these final two bolts. I'm not going to lie to you, they were a dog. They were incredibly tight. Which makes sense, I mean they're on a seat in a Patrol, you would expect them to be tight, but not as tight as what they were. Now the reason I struggled so much is because I didn't have enough leverage on my little 14mm spanner that I was using. A good 20 minutes into removing these two bolts, I remembered my roommate has a little 1/2-inch impact gun. Why the fuck didn't I use that from the beginning? As it turns out, I didn't have the correct socket that would fit the 1/2-inch. I had a 3/4-inch 14mm socket, but I didn't have an adapter. So I ended up running down to Sydney Tools, I think it was, with Kelly. We picked up a little 1/2-inch elbow and a 1/2" to 3/8 adapter, whacked it on the impact gun and straight onto the 14mm socket. That saved so much time, but I'll play it here now. Even the impact gun struggled removing the second bolt. Bloody hell. And just like that. Fuck me, there's plenty of room in here. Rightio. So, I'm not sure. My original plan was to go full length up to the back of the seat and down, but now that I've realised how flat this surface is, I might just come here, go up and across, just build a box, essentially. That way I can still slide shit along the floor if need be. I think I might do that. Okay, yeah, you probably can't see it from that camera there, but from this camera you can see this. Now this is going to get in the way of me just building a direct box up to this level. So whether I just incorporate that into a wall, like build a wall here, cut out a small outcropping and then do the same here. You know, fuck it, I'll just do that. That's what I'm going to do. So it's going to be a box with a little chunk taken out of it, I suppose. I'm going to try and reuse these factory mounts for the seats and clip something. Maybe it's not even worth clipping something onto there. We'll figure it out. But for now, I'm going to go get my measuring tape and go from there. Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, after about a month and a half, I finally got some wood. Finally got the material needed to build my false floor. Before recording this, I quickly went over my measurements, show you them real quick on a piece of cardboard. So this is my, this wall is going to be against my drawers in the rear, and if you notice, I'll cut to it now in editing. I got a little bit of a dick in the floor here, so I need to cut a chunk out. This wall is just a straight rectangle. It's going to be on the driver's side of the false floor that I'm building. It's still going to be all on the passenger side, but this is going to be the closest to the driver's side. Front wall is essentially just going to be these two measurements here, and the passenger side wall is going to be this measurement here, just with those taken out of it. I'm going to get stuck into transferring my measurements to a bit of wood here that I have. I've just got some plywood, and hope that it works. I'm going to make sure that my measurements are spot on before I start cutting. I'm also not using any fancy tools either. I'm just got a little saw that my dad gave me that I'm going to use. So building a false floor on a budget, I suppose. Well, let's get stuck into it. So I didn't get stuck into transferring my measurements to the piece of material straight away. I went back to the vehicle and double checked all of my measurements to make sure that they are correct. And they were, so I went ahead with transferring them from the bit of cardboard to the piece of wood that I have. Now, using no special techniques or anything like that, I just simply made sure that all my measurements were correct and that I marked off the waste material, so I knew what to remove and what not to remove when needed. As you can clearly see, I'm not even using a ruler. It goes to show what little tools you need to design and build something like this. I'm just using a piece of material to draw straight lines. You can go ahead and use a ruler and a spirit level and all that fancy shit if you so choose, but I don't have any of that equipment on hand, so I decided to do a bare bones, I suppose you could say. Once I have transferred the required measurements for the piece that I was going to be cutting, I began cutting. As you can see, I was just resting the bit of wood on top of a motorbike ramp and held it in place with one of my old batteries from the patrol. You really don't need any special tools in order to do this sort of thing. As long as you get your measurements right and you draw your lines straight, you'll be good as gold. I just repeated this process for the remaining 3 sides once I'd finished this. Made sure my measurements were correct, drew all my lines straight, and then cut them all out in the same fashion. So I'm just going to let all that play out for you in some montage-esque style, and I'll chat to you all in a minute. Right, as you just saw, the last of the 4 walls have been cut. Now, I don't have any of those big, they're called G-clamps, to hold it all together. I am going to be using timber screws and some liquid nails combined, so it's nice and strong. Now, I will not be cutting all of the corners off on a 45 angle, sorry. I will just be butting them together. I'll just be putting it on like that, obviously flush, so I won't be cutting these corners at a 45 just because I don't have the equipment to do so. I did allow for this thickness in my measurements. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of overhang when I finish the box. I was originally going to build it right to the back of the passenger side front seat, but I thought, what kind of good's that? That kind of eliminates all my floor in the rear of the vehicle. You know, if I want to slide chairs or max tracks or towels or whatever, I can't use the entire base of the floor. It's only that area on the driver's side that I'll be able to use. So now if I just build the box to the same length as the seat, I still got my floor. I can still use the floor. I am planning to marine carpet this all. So it's going to look nice and pretty, match my rear drawers, make it look all schmick. So you won't see any of my horrible joins or any glue any liquid nails that has leaked out, but fingers crossed it's all pretty straightforward. I am planning to build a little box inside said box, inside of this box that I'm currently building for my dual battery. So I'm going to have, okay, I'll use this for example. I'm going to have, let's just say, some storage here, and then my battery here, and there's going to be a wall in between, and that's all going to be covered up and whatnot out of the way. I may make this wall removable so I can get at the battery and everything that's inside there. I feel like that's a good idea. So let's go from, I'm getting ahead of myself. I've just finished cutting the 2 pieces over there and these 2 pieces here. I've just finished cutting them, so I feel like I should assemble this box first before I start worrying about the interior of said box. I'm gonna scout around the shed, my very messy shed, to see if there is anything I can use to hold this box at perfect 90-degree angle. So I got my little right angle, 90-degree right angle ruler that I've been using for some measurements. So I'm hoping that I can get that in there and that'll work somehow. I really don't know. This is just going to be a lot of half-assed shit from this point forward. Well, you're here for a budget build, aren't you? Let's fucking see what happens. Right, so Kelly and I have managed to get, would you say 3 sides or 2 sides assembled? 3 sides. It's
3 put together.
Yeah. So 3 sides are connected. So that's what it's looking like at the minute. And yeah, we'll put that back, and you get a rough idea of how big it's going to be, which is some decent size. That is the old car battery out of my Patrol, so it's going to be plenty of room to house a battery and some other little knickknacks. Now, both my GoPro up there and my other camera down here are going flat, so Kelly and I are just going to smash this side out, let it dry tonight, and I'll come back to it tomorrow, put a floor in, hopefully. If I've got enough material there, I'll put a floor in and start working on a lid. We'll go from there.